second delay.
All right, I believe we're on. Good morning. Today is Friday, March 1st, 2024. I'd like to welcome you to the Southern Maryland delegation meeting. And we are here for the president's presentation. But before that, I'm going to ask Delegate Deborah Davis if she would offer the Pledge of Allegiance. Delegate Davis.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, you're doing double duty.
Yes.
Well, we can do this.
I'll do it.
Delegate Davis is also standing in for our chaplain, Delegate Jeff Long, and we'll bow our heads.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Will you pray with me in your tradition, as I pray in mine? Shall we pray? God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on our way, we have come this far by faith, by your amazing grace. Life for us ain't been no crystal stair. We pray for courage and humility. Order our steps as we do the people's work, lifting every voice. All together we sing. Amen. And so
Amen.
it is.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. You did a great job. All right. We are very pleased. We're really excited to hear the reports from our three outstanding college presidents. And fortunately, this is an annual report. And so we will begin with Delegate Yolanda Wilson, President of the College of Southern Maryland. Good morning, Dr. Wilson.
Good morning, Delegate Patterson. Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be with you this morning. Great to see you. And it was good to see so many of you last evening at the reception in Annapolis. So thank you for this opportunity to join you. And thank you, Delegate Patterson, for allowing me to go first. I'll have to depart because we have our strategic planning retreat. Have about 100 people here at the Velocity Center as we're delving deeper into the plan that we're going to launch this summer. So thank you for allowing me to go first. I don't know if there's someone on your team that's going to be able to share the PowerPoint presentation. And then I can just ask them to advance the slides.
Unfortunately, Dr. Wilson, we can't. I'm doing the admittance for it, but you have the ability to share your screen.
Okay, fantastic. Let me do that then. I have it pulled up as a PowerPoint PDF. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll clip it along this way. So good morning again. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the College of Southern Maryland alongside my higher.
Okay. Did she get frozen? Okay. We'll wait for her to come back on. Okay. Okay, I'm unsure what happened. Something may have frozen on Dr. Wilson's end. While we're doing that, good morning, colleagues. I have to do a better viewing of the audience. Good morning, Delegate Morgan. I took your job away. I didn't see you here. So,
It looks like she may have dropped, so maybe would you like to move on to the next presenter?
but she's the one who had the issue with leaving early.
Correct.
Okay. Well, let's end. And next is Dr. Jordan.
I'm here.
Why don't we do that? Dr. Jordan, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're just fine.
All right, I can start if you like.
Why don't we do that? Because again, if Dr. Wilson has to come back, we'll have her another day. All right?
Okay.
Great.
I am assuming that everyone has our PowerPoint presentation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so we know that we have a limited amount of time. I think it's about 5 minutes. And so instead of going directly through my slides, I'm just going to go through things.
You have a little bit more than 5 minutes.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I tried to script myself, so I'm going to do 5.5. How about that?
Okay.
All
Great.
right. So, so good morning again, and thank you for the opportunity to provide an update about the good work being done at St. Mary's College. My full presentation details the college's efforts to serve as a community resource, maintain enrollment strength, and as always, provide a premier, innovative, and affordable liberal arts education in Southern Maryland and the state. However, I understand about the time, and so I am just going to try to highlight parts of my presentation as requested. So you are all well aware that St. Mary's College is the state's designated honors college, and that we are one of only 2 independent public higher education institutions in the state. Our unique status and mission mean we must be especially nimble compared to our peers at adapting to an ever-evolving world. These past several years have certainly tested our dexterity, but nonetheless, we have persisted. We have maintained our high student retention and completion rates over time, and 96% of our students find employment, continue their education, or join public service programs within 6 months of graduation. Regardless of how students arrive at St. Mary's College, they leave prepared with the necessary skills to thrive in today's world. And we provide these outcomes at an immense value to our students. To this day, tuition remains lower than it was 11 years ago, and our graduates remain 2/3 less likely than the national average to enter default on their loans. When people hear that we're in an honors college, they picture a challenging academic curriculum and an exclusive culture. We are indeed rigorous, that much is true, but we are also acutely aware that although we operate in a unique space, we're first and foremost public servants. Therefore, we seek to engage and be engaged by the communities in which we live, learn, and work. And we are proud to see that our efforts to serve as a cultural, intellectual, and entertainment hub here in Southern Maryland have yielded positive results. This year's entering class is our largest entering class since 2012, and they are more diverse and highly credentialed than ever before. More important for each of you, though, is that Southern Maryland and St. Mary's County in particular have returned to their position as a primary source of students, meaning our local high school graduates see academic, personal, and professional value right here at home. Now, as part of this presentation, I was specifically asked to touch on some of the challenges we face. While I am thrilled to visit you all this morning and tell you about the tremendous growth we've seen, this growth has also brought challenges to balance. For example, the stellar demand for our only 2-year-old marine science, and business administration majors has required us to think creatively about how we utilize academic space more efficiently each year. And we're trying to do this by renovating existing space rather than seeking funds to construct new buildings. We've also had to hire faculty and expand our course offerings more quickly than anticipated. All of these issues puts tremendous pressure on our operating and capital budgets while we work to keep student costs low. Additionally, as more students arrive each year, and as students become more aware of their own physical and mental health needs, demand for support services has increased. We have partnered with several organizations to assist in evaluating existing programming and identifying future growth opportunities, but expansion of these services will require additional programmatic space and resources. Finally, executing our mission to balance excellence, affordability, and accessibility for Maryland residents remains a challenge. As a public, liberal arts, and honors college all in one, we're truly a one-of-a-kind asset for students when you survey our peers. However, that means that we also face unique pressures. When exacerbated by the past few years' inflation on the cost front and a white-hot labor market on the staffing front, it is certainly an extraordinarily challenging time to continue doing what we do, how we do it. But in closing, we're ever mindful that thanks to your support and your efforts, this little college on the banks of the St. Mary's River continues to operate at a level which consistently garners national attention and accolades, and we will continue to do our best to make that happen. Thank you once again for your time today. I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jordan. That was really, really very informative. Senator Jackson, good morning. You have a question.
Good morning, Madam Chair. President Jordan, always like to say hello to you. I love what you're doing there. And what I love more than anything else is your ability to adapt to the climate that's before you. So we are your partners. We will continue to be your partners. And we always like to add a little tidbit. In mixed company, Prince George is proud.
Thank you so much, Senator Jackson. I really appreciate that.
All right. Are there any other questions of Dr. Jordan? I shared with her earlier that we were down on our campus this early fall. It's a beautiful campus as always. And more importantly, when you meet students, and yesterday, Delegate Morgan and I had a chance to speak with, I had a chance to speak with one of his staffers who indicated that he was a student or graduated. Delegate Morgan, did he graduate from St. Mary's College?
No, he's a junior down there now.
He's an intern, St. Mary's College. And, students are very frank and very honest, believe it or not. And he had such glowing comments to offer about the college and his experience there. And to me, that speaks volumes. And we're very, very fortunate to have you at the helm and to have this beautiful campus and facility in Southern Maryland.
Thank you, Delegate Patterson. I really appreciate those comments. I'm especially happy that our students being honest, it's all positive honesty. So that always makes us feel good. And our campus looks better and better every year, thanks to the support of the legislators. And so we're thankful for all that you do for us.
Well, thank you. Let me offer apologies on behalf of Dr. Wilson. I called her and said to her she was frozen. However, on her end, she was not realizing that she was frozen. She said she gave a great presentation. So I don't know if she came back on or not. Kara?
I don't see her back on again. She
Okay,
joined
so
at one point and then I think left.
what I offered is that we will have her incorporate into the to one of the last two presentations that we have for Southern Maryland. Is Senator Van Hollen online?
No, he's coming on at about 9:25.
9:25. All right. Well, let's then start with continue with Dr. Eileen Abel, who is she offered her apologies. You have a cold, right? A little.
I've the flu, actually.
Oh, the flu. We appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm always happy to talk about the center. And as I was explaining to Chair Gale, to Chair Patterson and a few others who were on the phone earlier, I'm actually working from home today. I'm recovering from influenza A and still have a fairly deep cough, and I'm exhausted on a regular basis. So I hope everybody else has stayed healthy during this flu season, but it completely caught me off guard. I spoke with Senator Bailey last week and hacked my way through our half-hour conversation. So Senator Bailey, I'm actually a little bit better today than I was last week, but I appreciate everybody's patience if I pause for a moment and hack my way through this. I think most of you know the history of the University System of Maryland at Southern Maryland, which is located in California, but which serves the Tri-County area and has a unique mission. And it came under the auspices of the Universe System in 2019, and then immediately went into COVID. It had originally been established to meet the knowledge needs of the Patuxent River Naval Air Station, but has since expanded to try to create more robust undergraduate programs specifically to meet high needs in the area that can't be answered either by the programs at the College of Southern Maryland or by the liberal arts opportunities that are offered through St. Mary's College. So we also know that in Southern Maryland, we actually have a fairly high ALICE and poverty level. About a third of our population lives at the asset limited, income constrained, and employed, in part because we have a fairly high cost of living down here. We also know the best opportunity for families and communities to be lifted out of those resource vulnerable states is to get access to education in high need areas. So what we offer is undergraduate programs that lead to high demand, high wage employment in the area. I'm not going to pull up my PowerPoint. I did send it, and I know you all have access to that. But we offer multiple programs that, again, lead to high demand areas. We have 6 new programs, including computer science and data science, which were in high demand in the area. One is offered by Bowie, the other is offered by Coppin State, and we're delighted to be partnering with HBCUs in ways that we can support communities and students down at the center. So we do have 2 parts of our mission, as I mentioned. The first one is to grow these educational access opportunities for these jobs that require a bachelor's degree as the entry-level credential. The other thing that we do is to actually support the research and test and evaluation mission that is run by the University of Maryland Clark School of Engineering. And I'll talk about more about that in just a minute. But 2 really exciting things that have happened over the last year. One is our Building 1, which was the original building for the Regional Higher Ed Center, is now in a long-term lease engagement with the Kennedy Krieger Institute, much thanks to Senator Bailey, who helped shepherd that effort. So they have opened their Southern Maryland school. They opened it in fall of 24. Right now, they have about a dozen students who are enrolled there, and it's a great way for them to be co-located on a campus, which also offers opportunities for social work students as well as education students to engage in both research and internship opportunities. Bowie State is going to be bringing a Master's of Special Education down starting in the fall semester, and that's another opportunity for students to be able to engage with the Kennedy Krieger School on our campus. And as you can imagine, it is a boon to the communities down here whose kids no longer have to travel for 2 hours to get up to Baltimore for the educational opportunities. So we're delighted to have them on campus. So far, the partnership has been really robust, and it's great to have them there. Just this last month, we actually hosted the PACS partnership program on our campus. It's called the Spark event, and it's a way to bring almost 1,000 regional high school students, all 3 of the districts, as well as some of the private and parochial schools, brought students to campus to interact with potential employers, many people from the DoD, as well as other local employers and contractors, to talk a little bit about employment opportunities. It was so exciting to see that many people on campus coming in and out and having some conversations around opportunities, particularly around the education access opportunities that we offer for students. We're going to be having another open house in April, an employer summit in the summer. And then in early April, we are actually hosting with the College Park Clark School of Engineering an autonomy workforce summit that's going to be held on April 3rd and 4th. Pardon me. So it's not just about technology around autonomous systems, but essentially how we can help create more robust pipelines to enable students to step into the workforce with this constantly changing technology. The Clark School of Engineering has invested a great deal in research and growth opportunities in the Matrix Lab that's hosted in the new building that the state supported and opened up in the fall of 21. And it is supporting the research down there in multiple ways. For one thing, it's actually bringing in full-time faculty, which is a key marker for success. They're engaging in some new program development. They're working with Georgia Tech, Johns Hopkins University, Howard University, and Carnegie Mellon to develop a new professional master's in engineering in the test and evaluation of autonomous systems, which is really exciting. They are also working on developing an internal internship and apprenticeship program. This year, they actually hired somebody from the Forest Tech Center in St. Mary's County, who's been an apprentice and working in the labs this entire year and has had a lot of fun doing that. The Clark School was actually awarded $200,000 in grant fund to buy some equipment for advanced manufacturing lab. So College Park will be developing some programming around the advanced manufacturing lab that will be run out of the Matrix Lab there in the Smart Building, and are partnering very closely with Blue Halo and others around a research, test, and evaluation vision for the Matrix Center. So all of that is particularly exciting, again, as we further the mission to support the economy of the entire region. So we are, as you know, focused on offering affordable education and programs that meet very specific local needs. Part of our work right now is to work with contractors and other employers to provide internships and other work-based learning opportunities, as well as scholarships to help provide both experience and to offset the cost of education for people who are choosing to come here. It is still an affordable option for students who either can't commute, can't afford to live on a residential campus, or who don't believe that online learning is appropriate for them. So we are an incredibly valuable asset for education opportunities in Southern Maryland. It's also important for us that this supports the Grow Your Own model, where we're recruiting pathways from high schools through the College of Southern Maryland to the USMSM program partners. We're also offering professional development and advanced degree opportunities through a variety of modalities. We've actually upgraded some of our technology so that we can do both hybrid and high flex options for students, so they can take all of their classes at the center or online, or a combination of both. Our goal in the very near future is to grow student support services to offer students a more robust extracurricular experience at the center. And we are working on developing partnerships because community support, of course, is key, not just to the success of the center, but for the communities in Southern Maryland that we serve. And at that, I'm happy to answer any questions that people may have.
Well, thank you very much. That was very detailed, and I note the changes that have occurred over the span of just 1 year. Dr. Abel, if you will hold tight with the questions, we're going to bring in Senator Van Hollen, because
Of course.
I believe he has a very tight schedule as well. But hold your questions for both Dr. Jordan, if you've thought of some issues or questions, and Dr. Abel. Thank you so very much. All right. Please join me in welcoming Senator Van Hollen. He has certainly been a supporter of education, and not only education, but so many other issues, but a great supporter of Southern Maryland. So good morning, Senator Van Hollen.
Good morning, Chair Patterson, and thank you and the Southern Maryland delegation for having me, and thank you for all your leadership as chair and on the ERA. Let me start by saying I'm glad that everybody in Annapolis is safe. I know you had a very scary episode yesterday, and I've talked to a number of your colleagues, and I know we're all grateful for the security officers who were there. So I'm glad everybody's okay. It is wonderful to join all of you from the Southern Maryland delegation, from Charles, from Calvert, from St. Mary's. Also, I want to salute the three presidents from our colleges in Southern Maryland that you've invited today. It's always good to work with them. And I do just see this as an opportunity for me to give you a sense of some of the things happening at the federal level that impact the state, but also just to keep open the lines of communication. It's been an honor to work with all of you over the years, both on issues at the federal level that impact Southern Maryland, but also learning from you what you're doing in the state General Assembly on behalf of the state. We also, of course, share constituents and want to keep open lines of communication on any constituent matters. And Kenny Simons is here with me. He's our regional director for Southern Maryland. So my eyes and ears, my ambassador when I can't be with you in person. So I do just want to thank him for his work. So I remembered my days in Annapolis fondly. You do so much in 90 days. And certainly in the current session of Congress, you're getting a lot more done in 90 days than we are doing in a year. But let me provide you an update on where we are in terms of the federal budget, especially, and our efforts to avoid a government shutdown. And obviously, a federal government shutdown is bad for the country in many, many ways. But it has especially harmful impact on states like Maryland that have significant federal presence. And that's true throughout Southern Maryland, of course. We have the Indian Head Naval facility in Charles County. We have the Naval Research Laboratory, Chesapeake Bay and Calvert. We have, of course, Pax River, a major naval air installation in St. Mary's. Along with Charlotte Hall, VA, and not in Maryland, but the Wallops Space Facility, which is in Virginia, is mostly staffed by Marylanders from Southern Maryland. These are just a few of the examples of the federal presence and investment in Southern Maryland, and that's direct, and that's beyond, of course, the federal resources that flow to education, transportation, to other areas. So long story short, a federal government shutdown would be harmful in many ways, but it would definitely hurt the Southern Maryland economy. And the longer it went on, obviously, the worse it would be. So there's the good news, and then let's wait and see. The good news is, as of last night, literally, we voted to at least prevent the shutdown that was scheduled to begin today, the federal government shutdown for 4 federal agencies. And we also set 2 new deadlines, and we've really got to get this work done. One is March 8th, so we have to work. We've now decided 6 federal agencies probably will have their budgets hopefully resolved by March 8th, and the rest of the federal government by March 22nd. And it's important that we get that work done, or those agencies shut down. Now, you know, we are, as you probably know, well into our fiscal year already. I mean, you in Annapolis do a much better job of keeping your budget on time. The federal fiscal year began in October of last year, so we're well into it now. But it is really important that we update the federal investments because priorities change. Some agencies need more, some need less, and that's why we've got to do this. The other reason is we have renewed the practice to have what we call congressional directed spending, earmarks, call it what you want. These are important public investments, transparent to everybody. And we have, secured over 15 million in last year's budget for important priorities and nonprofits and other priorities in Southern Maryland. And this year in the Senate bill alone, we have over $10 million. All of that gets wiped out if we go to an automatic pilot, what we call a congressional, just a CR. So for many reasons, it's very important that we get this work done. Now, the good news is that in the previous Congress, the previous 2 years, we were able to get a lot done, including passing, for example, the infrastructure modernization bill, which I know you're all familiar with. That is delivering $8 billion to the state of Maryland over 5 years. One of the very important provisions of that bill includes monies for bridge repair. In Maryland, we had 273 bridges in disrepair, and those funds will help to make them safer and modernize them, including the Thomas Johnson Bridge, which has gotten, of course, a lot of attention. And on top of that money, we were able to secure $1 million in that direct federal funding for that. It also will help make possible the Southern Maryland Regional Transit Project, which is important, I know, to everybody, especially Charles County. Senator Ellis, thank you for your work on this over many years. And on top of the federal funds through the modernization bill, we also secured $5 million in direct funding for that project. St. Mary's Regional Airport, there's a whole list of projects throughout Southern Maryland that benefited from the infrastructure modernization bill and will continue to do so. You have your 3 college presidents here. I do want to thank them. And we've also, federal funds have helped support a lot of programs at the College for Southern Maryland. For example, the Velocity Center at Indian Head, at UMD's UAS Research and Operations Center. I've visited that over the years. It's really leading the way to safe and responsible application of unmanned aircraft systems, federal funding, part of that project. And of course, University of Southern Maryland's autonomous research technology, the SMART building, which is allowing us to educate more Southern Maryland students and also serve as an important hub. And Dr. Abel, thank you for hosting me there, and continue to look forward to more visits to your college as well as the other 2. Finally, Madam Chair, Mallows Bay is an important, not just state treasure, but national treasure. And we were pleased to get that as part of the National Marine Sanctuary system, and $5 million from NOAA, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Agency, to support preservation efforts there. And that was also part of our larger effort to designate the Southern Maryland National Heritage area, which is going to bring, we hope, not just more Maryland tourists, but tourists from around the country to help support the local economy. Finally, on the Chesapeake Bay, which is so important to Southern Maryland, but our whole state, we continue to secure record amounts of funds to help with the Bay cleanup effort. And Congressman John Sarbanes and I are working to pass something called the National Chesapeake Recreation Area, which would provide certain important designations to the Bay from the National Park Service, which will both help us preserve the Bay, provide federal support for future generations, and we believe also bring more tourists to enjoy the beauty and the bounty of the Bay, and that will also help small businesses throughout Southern Maryland and indeed throughout the Bay Area. So let me close with that, Madam Chair. Try to hit some highlights. Let me again thank you and the Southern Maryland delegation for all that you do for our state and for our shared constituents. And I'm happy to try and answer any questions.
Well, thank you very much, Senator Van Hollen. Some information is brand new, particularly as it relates to Mallows Bay. It's a beautiful sanctuary. And so thank you for your leadership there, as well as some of the other initiatives with National Heritage. We have a question from Senator Bailey. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Senator Bailey. Good to see you.
So I just had a couple quick things. You brought up the Chesapeake Bay, and I know that we have a ongoing struggle right now with the invasive blue catfish. And I have went all the way to Oklahoma this year to meet with some of the people that represent the South and the blue catfish industry. And they have pretty much said absolutely not, that they are going to do away with the processing, the FDA requirement that we have to have an FDA inspector to process the catfish, which is the only wild caught fish in the state of Maryland that we're not able to cut it. And it's causing such a burdensome impact on us that we're not harvesting these fish, but yet they're taking over the bay unbelievably. And we appreciate any work that you can do. I know we're putting some language in to try to address this so that we can identify other markets and different things, but we do appreciate anything, because if we could just cut these fish, it would sure make things in the Chesapeake Bay a lot easier for us.
Well, thank you, Senator Bailey, and it's been good. Thank you for raising this issue again. We have been on it. This is one where we've been working with our colleagues in the House. Congressman Andy Harris and I don't agree on many things, but we have been working together on this issue because, as you say, it's really important to our state. And you're right that there's this provision that says you have to have, we want the inspection system to be the same as applies to everything else. And we're working as we speak to try to get some appropriations bill language into the ag bill that would address this issue. It is a contested matter because there are folks from other states that want to maintain the status quo. So we are working on this. At the same time, we're trying to make sure that we address the larger problem of blue catfish. As you say, we've got to eat our way out of this, and we shouldn't slow down. We shouldn't slow down the process of inspection that allows us to do that. So I'm happy to have my team follow up with yours, if that would be helpful.
That would be, Senator. I really do appreciate it, because some of the other things that are happening in Maryland is we've just the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission has just taken some pretty drastic measures on some of our charter boat captains that are going to really affect tourism in some of our most rural areas. And what's happening to the rockfish? And they bring $6.2 billion to the economy of the United States every year, and tens of thousands of jobs, and it's all threatened because of this blue catfish. And so we really do need help, and we have to address it. We can't keep kicking the ball down the road. So I appreciate, and if your staff would be more than willing to reach out, I know that we're trying to be as engaged and involved as we can.
I'll have them follow up with you and give you an update on what we're doing, and then maybe we can compare notes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Senator Bailey. Senator Ellis, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Senator Van Hollen. It's good to see you, and thank you for your leadership and keeping Southern Maryland on your radar screen and doing so much for us. I just want to say you mentioned Southern Maryland Rapid Transit. Speaking with the Secretary of MDOT, Secretary Wiedefeld, and Transit Administrator Arnold, we have a ribbon cutting coming up in the spring. They told me to launch the next phase of the project. They have the engineering firm hired, project manager, and everything in place. So that's good news there. My question to you, listening to you, did you say in this year there are additional federal funding for that project?
So first of all, as I said in my opening comments, thank you for your leadership on this. I remember contacting you way back, and it was one of the early earmarks that we secured was to help push that project forward in the state. No, the $5 million I mentioned was earlier monies that we had secured. It was an example of some of the things that we had achieved, but we do look forward to continue to work with you to find more federal funds. Although, as I said, the infrastructure modernization bill, that $8 billion, that's over 5 years, is intended to support this project, and I think funds from that are being used.
Great, thank you. And I hate to correct a U.S. senator, but I'll double the amount. It was $10 million you got for that project initially.
Well, that's true. That's true. Thank you for mentioning that.
It's a good correction. So.
5 per year. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks for keeping me straight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I don't know if there are other questions, but this is an FYI, Senator Van Hollen. Southern Maryland, we are grappling with some challenges that relate to transportation, commuter transportation for residents. Some of the bus lines or commuter lines being reduced, ridership, and primarily because of budget shortfalls at the state level. So I just want you to be aware of that, and we may call on you for some suggestions or intervention or support, because as you well know, for many Southern Marylanders, getting into Washington is a lifeline. These are where the jobs are. And for so many people, transportation is an issue, but most of all, so when you think about the environment and having more vehicles on the road, that is a problem. So we will keep your office apprised of some of our struggles as well as rewards.
Well, thank you, Chair Patterson. You know, Southern Maryland has, in my view, really done well over the last 10 plus years and more, and it's a testament to a lot of the efforts of all of you. It's also because of that investment, as you say, that you've seen growth. You've seen a significant population growth in Southern Maryland, which does put pressure on the transportation systems. And so I look forward to working with you. The infrastructure modernization bill provided the state with, again, significant additional monies, $8 billion over 5 years. But I know that it hasn't met all of the needs, and we need to work with you. Obviously, transportation is a shared, federal state responsibility in terms of dollars. But thank you. I know that Southern Maryland is probably under more pressure transportation wise than many other parts of the state. So look forward to working with you.
All right, the last question, Dr. Abel. Good morning to you again.
Yes, thank you so much. So Senator Van Hollen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm delighted to be on the phone with you, and we look forward to welcoming you back down at the Smart Center sometime soon. This is actually me with a different hat. I have the distinct honor of chairing the Mallows Bay National Marine Sanctuary Advisory Council. And I just wanted to let you know, and I'll work with Kenny certainly to make sure that this is on your calendar if it's possible for you to join us. We've been working very closely with the Piscataway tribe, on whose land, of course, you know that that Mallows sits. There's going to be a sign dedication on March 18th in the morning, where we will be putting up signs or dedicating the signs that are both in English and in Piscataway, and there will be a ceremony that day. And it's a great way for us to honor both the heritage as well as this amazing National Marine Sanctuary that's in everybody's backyard in Washington, D.C. So I just wanted to let you know that was coming up, and thank you so much for your support for the National Marine Sanctuary as well as the Southern Maryland Heritage designation. It's incredibly important for this region, so thank you.
Well, President Abel, let me thank you for wearing this hat that you just mentioned when it comes to the Mallows Bay Marine Sanctuary and the Heritage Center, Heritage area. And I'm really glad to hear about the March 18th event. I'd heard something about it. I will get more information from my team. But again, thank you for your stewardship of that important effort.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Abel. We will certainly be, we will place it on our calendars as well. Mondays are free days for us. All right. Thank you so much, Senator Van Hollen, for taking time to be with us this morning and for the questions from my colleagues. All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all very much. Always good to be with you.
All right, we have a few minutes. I do want to ask Kara if she would go over the upcoming meetings. We only have 2 left. Kara, are you on?
I am. Next meeting we're going to have on March 15th. It's going to be an agriculture update. We're also going to be hearing from Congressman Hoyer, the Secretary of Agriculture, the USDA Farm Service Agency, and also the Agriculture Education Foundation. And then following that, on March 29th, it's going to be a Veterans and Military Families update, at which time we'll be hearing from PACS Partners, Navy Alliance, Military Alliance Council, and since Dr. Perman, the Chancellor of the University System of Maryland, couldn't make it today, he's going to be presenting at that time.
All right, those are really full days. We may have Dr. Wilson to come in just for a few moments if we have the time on either days to offer updates from CSM. Let me also go back to ask if there are questions of Dr. Abel regarding USMSM. I do want to make one comment, and I heard you mention something very, very important, dear to my heart, and that is grow your own and the partnerships with students. I think that the institution is certainly a jewel in Southern Maryland, and it's a beautiful campus. It's gotten bigger, not wider, but larger in terms of the offerings. And I just hope that more citizens, more residents will take advantage of what you have there. Senator Bailey, you have a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say to all of our college presidents, and especially to their hardworking staffs, it is an honor working with each and every one of them. It's an honor representing them. We get the opportunity to, even though we're going through tough times, as people know, we're looking at the budget today with early decisions, dealing with EBA, right? And there's a lot of challenges in balancing the budget this year. But we're going to move forward. We're working through it. Appreciate all the information that they're providing to us. I did want to say it was unfortunate that Dr. Wilson stepped away, but she has been working with us with all 3 of our counties and our superintendents to make sure that we're able to provide dual enrollment to our high school students and get them ready to experience the college. And it was nice that the MOUs that they did were able to save the county some money. And I think when they get those all signed next week, everything will be moving forward. So I appreciate the work that everyone is doing, and I just wanted to say that we're very lucky to have these institutions that we're able to represent. Thank you, Ms. Chair.
Absolutely. Thank you. Those are the sentiments of really all of us. I appreciate you for capturing it in that format. Any other questions from the colleagues that are still on? Senator Jackson, Delegate Davis, Delegate Harris. If not, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Davis. I wish you all a great weekend. And for my colleagues, we'll be back in 2 weeks for another Southern Maryland delegation meeting. Goodbye. Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Very good
Bye-bye.
weekend. Thank you.